Hi, my name is Pat, and Louie and Tracy asked me here today to share with you what I was like, what happened, and hopefully you can see what I'm like now. A little over 13 years ago, I found myself in just a horrible spot, literally. I was alone, I was afraid. I was hallucinating, and at that time, I had become addicted to alcohol. And I didn't know what to do. I always knew there was a God. I believed in God, but I thought I was totally convinced that God was mad at me and that I was going to go to hell. And I wasn't upset with him because I felt like really that was what I deserved. And anyway, so I just, for the first time in my adult life, I got on my knees and I just simply asked the Lord to help me because I knew at that particular point in time that I couldn't do it myself. I had, I tried to read the Bible because I thought, well, that's what I should be doing. And I didn't understand a word of it, to be real honest with you. And I couldn't figure out why. Well, today I know why. I didn't have the Spirit of the Lord within me. And the Holy Spirit is who will teach you all things, Jesus said. So, I tried all kind of things on my own, and I failed. And so what I learned that night was I had just realized that I'd come to the end of myself, and I surrendered. I didn't know what that was going to look like, but I truly, honestly believed that God would help me, and that He did. He placed people in my life. I mean, people that I didn't even know, people that I'd never seen before, that started speaking into my life. God Himself even started speaking to me, and He told me what I needed to do, and I didn't want to do it because I was full of pride, to be real honest with you. And I tried to bargain with him, and he was relentless. And that night that I surrendered, I made a promise to God. I said, if you help me, I will do whatever you want the rest of my life. And I meant it. And so even though I bargained with the Lord, I relented and I said, okay. So that began my journey really of recovery. I went into a meeting house. It's called Rebo's, which was right next to where I worked. And I drove a very distinctive car, and I didn't want anybody to see my car there. And but I went anyway. And there I found a fellowship of believers in the program, and believed that it worked, and they believed in God, and more than anything, they loved on me. And now looking back, there are a lot of things that I believe in my heart that gets right, and one of those is to love, and that they did. And so I didn't stay there. I just, I went to meetings. I did what was suggested. The Lord brought to me just a wonderful woman that ended up being my mentor for years in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. We call it a sponsor, but she was a born-again believer, and she ended up being one of my very best friends. And she and I were together until the day she died. And, that it's to have someone that loves you unconditionally like God does is so meaningful, and something you never forget. And anyway, so I just kept going where I felt like the Lord led me. He led me to the prayer room down at 913 building downtown. I became part of the prayer team. I thought, who on earth would have ever figured? So from there, I started volunteering, and I can honestly tell you that that was all God, because most of my life, all of my life really, I was extremely selfish, and I only wanted to do what was going to bring me pleasure and what was going to be fun. And so, the Bible tells us in Ezekiel that He will give us a new heart. He will take that stony heart and give you a heart of flesh. A new heart I will give you. And that's what He started doing within me. I'd love to tell you it happened overnight, but it truly has been a process. So through there, through volunteering, and, for some odd reason, I love to serve food. And so I started volunteering at my commission, serving food. And the Lord kept speaking to me. I kept hearing, taking it to the streets. And I thought, well, am I going to be an evangelist? And I remembered I had promised the Lord that I would do whatever He wanted me to do. So I thought, well, that's okay. And then I kept hearing mobile. And so I thought, okay, am I moving? I didn't understand until one day I was talking to one of my friends who was serving with me, and told her what I felt like the Lord was telling me. Well, He was telling her the same thing. And so out of that birthed Mobile Micah. And we started Mobile Micah over 6 years ago, and we started taking meals to the streets. And so we that's absolutely something I never envisioned that I would be doing. Where we started, Nana Kay, Sharon was my partner, and she was driving, and she at that time, and before that, the Lord had given me a vision of what our truck was going to look like. And I just knew, I knew that that's what we were going to get, what it was going to look like, but we had to wait. And so at that time, Nana Kay had a black Yukon with black tinted windows. And the minister or the pastor at Micah asked us if we would go to DA. And we said, yeah. And we had no idea where we were going. Nana Kay's driving. I said, Nana Kay, just turn down this street. Well, it was Central Avenue. And so I just got out and started knocking on doors. Here we've got her black Yukon loaded with to-go boxes of meals that were cooked at Micah. And we just started knocking on doors. We started out with 25 meals, and we got up to over 200 meals we were serving every week. And the Lord just placed these people in our lives to love. We weren't to judge. We were just to love them, and that we did. And we made so many friends. And, I had a vision. I told Nana Kay, I said, Nana Kay, I know eventually when we come into the neighborhoods that people are just going to start coming toward us. And eventually they did. They recognized us. And we went into their homes. We prayed over them. We fed them, and we listened to them, and they became our friends. And so anyway, about when COVID hit, back in whenever it was, 2020, I guess, my commission closed down, and I thought, I can't stop. I can't stop. So I decided that I was going to do it on my own, and so I have been. I still go out every week, and people donate money, they donate food. I take whatever I'm given, and I give it back to the community. And, that's truly all God. That wasn't me. I go to places that most people probably wouldn't even want to go, but I'm not afraid. I've never been afraid, because I know that's what the Lord wants me to do. So anyway, I'm just so grateful for what the Lord has done in my life. And He can do that. He will do that for anyone, absolutely anyone. All you have to do is just say yes. Just finally come to the end of yourself, surrender, and just know in your heart of hearts that you can't do whatever it is. You can't do it. And let God do it, and He will. Just keep saying yes to Him, and He will take you places that you would have never dreamed of going. I mean, none of this I would have made up on my own. I mean, I think I would have decided that I was going to do something just real safe and clean and nice, and that simply hasn't been the case. You know, he wanted me to go to the streets, take it to the streets, and that's what I'm going to do until he tells me not to do it any longer. But you know, I could tell you story after story, but in essence, everybody, no matter what neighborhood I go right now, I go to West Side, still to DA, Vine Street, Colonial Motel, Little River Motel, wherever we have been, people, you just wouldn't believe what the people in the neighborhoods have told us, how wonderful it is for their community. You know, it's much more than just feeding them. I mean, Jesus fed the multitudes. He did that. But they also listened to Him. And so food just got us in the door. And, you know, and I've often said, people don't want what you're selling until they know that you care. And they know I care. And that's just God, the God in me. That truly, truly is not me. So I would just suggest, if anyone out there is struggling, and that's okay, we all struggle. I to this day struggle at times. But if you are struggling, just surrender to the Lord and just tell Him you can't do it. You don't know how to do it. And He'll take over if you just say yes to Him. So I hope this touches somebody's heart. Believe it. Believe in Him, because He is much more powerful than I am, than you are. And He does have a good plan for all of us. And one of my most favorite Bible verses right now is 2 Corinthians 5:20. For we are ambassadors for Christ, as if God Himself were pleading through us. So that's what He wants. He wants us so that He can plead through to other people, because God is love, and He created every single one of us. And because of His love, He wants us to be part of His family. So He sends us out to love. So thank you for listening.